Hey guys, this is E with Scrapbooking with Me, and I'm going to start something new today. It's going to be a process. It's not going to be something I'm going to get done in one video, but I'm wanting to dabble more into junk journals. Now, you might say, what is the difference in a junk journal and a journal? Well, in my opinion, and this is only my humble opinion, in my opinion, a junk journal is a journal that you put together and you dump everything in it that you might have laying around on your desk. It could be old stamps, it could be magazine pages. Let me just pull one out here and I'll give you an example. These are just a few that I have, and some of these were made and given it to me, and then some of them I made myself. This one I made a long while ago. I can't even remember, probably 4 years ago. I absolutely love this one. I like the things sticking out, in all different directions. This one was actually made, this cover is a piece of junk mail from CVS. As you can see, there's the label. And I just used this cover to make the cover of my junk journal. I left the little holes in there and everything. And then I just started putting stuff on the outside that I liked. This was a day timer, I think, a long time ago. It says March there, so that was just a page there. Some old corrugated fiberboard there, the inside, and I just kind of colored it up. This is just some old vintage fabric, buttons, and then in the back, just some pieces of maps, old maps. And you can see, that's fabric. There's another page out of that day timer. And just some old things. That's where I colored some pages there. So it's just all kinds of items. Junk mail, whatever you want. Now this one I haven't written in. I have got it. I put it up on my shelf because I love it so much. That one, that page I actually put on upside down, but who cares, Who cares? That's some vintage advertisement paper there. It says 1959. And that's old, it's like a deli paper, but it's not. I can't even remember what it's called. It may be called deli paper, but anyway, just something that was in my drawer. These are things that I just stash in my drawer, and I pull them out. As you can see, there's very little in here that I would normally put in a regular journal. This is a piece of coffee dyed paper that I did, and it actually tore all the pieces, and I thought that'll be good. I spritzed that old piece. Just lots of different things out of magazines. And then you can go through here and add pockets and put memorabilia in there, write on them, journal on them. There's an old hotel in Palm Beach. That was many, many moons ago. I mean, it's just basically junk. That's it. This is just a piece of plastic, and I just slid that paper up in there. Just plastic. So that is, to me, a junk journal. Now, my journals are more theme-based. My regular journals are more, to me, theme-based. They might be, this is a purple flower journal, this is a bluebird journal, which this is a bluebird journal, Christmas journal, Easter journal, things like that. And I put digitals in there and nice papers and pockets and tags and things like that. To me, this is a journal. Doesn't have junk in it. It's a journal. So that is my opinion. Now, everybody has their own opinion as to what makes up a junk journal and what makes up a journal. So that's strictly up to you. But I'm going to give you at least 20 plus ideas of things that you can put in your junk journals. And then I'm going to give you at least 10 to 15 different ways that you can make up a junk journal just from some of the things that you have around the house. Like I said, that was made from junk. This was an old piece of chipboard. I think this was probably from my kitchen, some kind of something. And you can see this one's well loved. And then I just put some pieces on the outside and then made this into texture. I just glued some pieces on the outside of it and then covered it over with color and ink and glitter and whatever. and made this into a real nice feeling. It feels almost like leather. I love it. I'm not sure I have a video on this. I may. I'll have to look it up. And I'll flip through this pretty quick because this was my personal journal that I kept up with my husband's sermons on. You know, he was a preacher for about 40 years. And so I kept up with the sermons that he preached in this. And I absolutely love it. I love it. And then my grandbabies, they like to go in and write me notes every now and then. I love you, Mom. And do you know, Dad loves you too, KK and Brooklyn. they like to go in and write me little notes and things, and that I love it. I mean, I've just got, oh, look at that. I love Jesus and you too. So, and then I have just, like I said, lots of his sermons and things in here, and I wouldn't take anything for this. This is just, I go through it ever so often because most of you know my husband passed away. Next month will be 3 years, and I miss him so much. I miss him every day. And this just helps me. Sometimes I'll go through and, you know, look up Isaiah 9 verses 6 and 7 and then just see what he preached on that day. It helps me a ton. So, like I said, this is made from chipboard and just some Mod Podge and then old stickers that had a little bit of depth to them that I glued on there. I think you can see that cover. And like I said, I'll try to look this up and see if I can find where I made that one. I'm not sure. I think I did a video on it, but not 100% sure. I did do a video on this one. The ones that I can, I will try to find videos on. This one was actually made from, let's see, this was a old notebook. It was just a notebook. And this is my faith journal. And I've got in here just different little sayings, and I've stamped in here. I've got some pieces of embroidery in here that some of you guys sent me, some phrases you guys sent me. I mean, and then I cut out this poem, not poem. I cut out this from Psalms, and I put that in there. I typed it and put it up in there. And let's see, some of these pages are stuck together. I need to put a little powder in between them. Just things that you normally wouldn't put in just a regular journal that maybe you're going to sell or give away. This is more personal. That's what I think of junk journals. They're more personal to me. And then here I made some little houses and put my Matthew 23:39 there. Love thy neighbor. And it says 2/11/16. I try to date the pages so that I can know about when I made them and look back on them. And I love that. I don't even remember where I got that. And then, you know, just different sayings. Some of it I painted. I mean, that's why some of my pages are a little bit crooked like this. And then some of them I just Mod Podged and doodled on. And I love this kind of thing. I love that page. Oh, this was the, this says the date Melina told me about her test results and her scheduled surgery on her back. 3/7/16, and then I pulled this out and thought this was some stickers. I mean, that's what I had to have, is some faith to get through all of that. So yeah, this was Easter. He is risen. So you can see this one. There's my kiddos, my grandkids. Life is better in flip-flops. You know I love my flip-flops. So, yeah. And it's just, you know, I've still got more pages that I could do in that one. And this one, my grandbaby did. And then this is my thankful journal. I did it quite a few years ago, too. And it's just got lots of different pages. Some blank pages, just blank. And then, you know, some of them I treasure a lot. Like, there's my hubby. And, yeah, just... You know, this one was made just out of some chipboard, and then I just covered it in some of my paper. So let's see. Here's one that someone sent me. This one is just made out of some paper. They have a Velcro dot where they glued it. You know, it shuts, and then they've got little tags and things in here. And look at these pages. I love how they inked these pages up, and they've just got little notepads in here. I mean, I hate to even use it. I love it so much. I go through and I flip through these all the time, and they put tons of tags in here, and I cannot. Let's see, who was this one made by? I don't think I've got it written. Most of them I tried to write on who they were made by, and I may have it written in here somewhere, but I'm not going to take the time to go through every piece. But you can see this is mainly, this is like a notebook paper maybe that they have just colored up. And then this is just a regular scrapbooking paper, and they've just put 2 pages together. Look at that. I love it. All of these abide on my shelf right behind me. Let's see. Look at this one. This is one that Gail sent me. She made for me after my husband passed away. This is a journal prompt for grief. So there's lots of prompts in here that I still need to go through and use, but she did such a wonderful job in this. Look at that. Well, I don't know how this got in there exactly. What I need to know when you get retirement or survival benefits. I think I might have been going through that to put it in for my hubby when he passed. And then here's a note from Gail that I think, no, this is a note from Erin and Michael. This is a note from ePapery when my husband passed. So there's a lot of things in here that go back to when my husband passed away. And then I've got some writing in here about, you know, maybe how I was feeling on that day. And so Gail made that one for me, and I love how it feels. It's made from a paper sack. See, a paper bag that she has just crinkled and then inked, and I love it. Love, love, love it. Okay, let me go on. I'm trying to not take too much time on these because I've got so many here. This one is one that I just threw together one day. I had this piece of paper from an old magazine, and then this is just some thick scrapbook paper or cardstock, old piece of fabric. You know, I just threw it together real quick. Got a little pocket right here, and then I mainly used pages from old magazines and books in this one. So yeah, and this is just scraps of pieces that I had in my junk drawer over here. Colorado, I love Colorado, so I had to include something like that. So you can see just lots of pieces of things. An old paper bag piece. See, lots and lots of things. So that's that one, and then I just tied it up with this old piece of string there. And then here's another one that I made using a, this is using some cardboard, lightweight cardboard, and I put fabric on the outside and inside, pockets, tags, and then I just went through and, you know, put some things in there, stitched some things in, and put some old paper in there that I had coffee dyed, pockets, tags, old book pages, old checks and things that I had in my stash. That's a piece of an old magazine, a paper bag, lots of things. So I love this one too. And then I made that and put it in the back. So let's see. Here's one that's made from an old book. This was a book cover that I had, and I just put this paper on the front, put some lace here. My signatures are stitched in, or my signature is stitched in to this, and then it's then I put this over it, and it's kind of a floating signature in there. And then I just started out, I think it was March, so I started out with March and just put some different things in here. Some of them have some writing on them, some of them do not. So I've got lots and lots of writing that I could do. See, just lots of things like that. So use an old book cover if you've got that. This was what was this one? This was a piece of chipboard, just a lightweight chipboard. And I just folded it, and then this was 321. That's some paper that I dyed. So all kinds of goodies. So you can do it that way. I put a little pen holder right there. You can put a pen down in it. And then I made a little miniature one to go right there on the front. Most of these I have videos on, but I'll have to look them up. This is one I made from one of those notebooks that just a little notebook that you can buy in town. It just has blank pages, and I've not done very much in this one. I just glued some of my paper on the front, and then I started, this was at Thanksgiving, so I just started putting some things in there. Got my bucket list, and I need to go through there and see if I've accomplished any of my bucket list items. Well, let's see. Number 1 in 21, my bucket list. Go to Hawaii. Not made it there yet. Reach 100,000 subscribers in YouTube. I have accomplished that. Go to the Grand Canyon. I have accomplished that. Eye surgery. That was actually my bucket list. I have done that. It says new smile. I guess I've done a new smile. I don't know. Go to Paris on the 50th anniversary. So we didn't make it. My husband didn't make it to our 50th anniversary. So that one didn't get fulfilled. But maybe one day I can go to Paris. This one was made for me. And I can't remember who made this one for me. I don't remember. But this is like a piece of chipboard in here. And they've covered it with fabric. Put some beautiful lace on the edges. This is one of our digitals, I'm pretty sure. But you can see, I love all the little flip-ups in here. And some of them I have journaled on, some of them I haven't. And here they just use little cutouts from magazines. So, yeah, you can do that. And I'm sure I've got names on these somewhere. And then there's the little charm that's hanging from it. Like Betty makes, those charms. Let's see. This one is actually it's 2021. It's a collage weekly planner that I took the little course from Margaret Miller. And she sold this little book to us. And then each week we got prompts where, you know, this week you had to use this and that week you had to use that. But I love looking through this one. Love it. Look how chunky. But I did every prompt. I was pretty proud of myself. And it's just a collection of them. There's Melina and Erin. She was pregnant with Bethany. And, you know, I have a lot of them written on there. And then I have one of my cards in there. Just some things that I like to go back and look at and remember. So this was a Margaret Miller, kind of a challenge-like thing. She would give you prompts. Like there's one of the prompts. Something with a bit of pink, a place, a piece of newspaper, a form or portion, blank or filled, text other than English or your native language, and then an art scrap. So that's what's on there. So yeah, just, you know, it's my babies. This is just a, basically a junk journal, but it's in this type binding. And if you have one of these binders, you can just use some of your paper that you have and do this, you know, bind it up like that. Someone made that for me and sent it to me, so I put that in there. Grab out what you have and start putting it together. You'd be surprised how quick it comes together. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over some of the things that I normally put in my junk journal and then show you what I'm going to be using for the junk journal. Now, I did a little bit of research on this because it has been probably 4 years since I've put a junk journal together. And I did some research just to see if there was some things new out there that I had not thought about. So I took a couple of classes on Skillshare as my go-to learning community, Skillshare, and I want to thank them for sponsoring today's video. The first class that I did was by Kathy Weller, and I will put her link down below, and I'll put some little shots here of the class that I took. I absolutely loved it. She showed all different things to how to put things in your junk journal, how to layer them, how to paint in them. I mean, just tons of things. So that was a very interesting class. And then the second class I took was by Helen Colebrook, and I know a lot of you know her from YouTube. She's got quite a bit of big following on YouTube. And I've watched her for years on YouTube, but I've never taken one of her classes. So I took that class and it was very, very good. She has done junk journaling for many, many years, has a couple of books out, I think. For those of you who don't know anything about Skillshare, I've been using Skillshare for probably 8 or 9 years, I guess, or maybe 7 or 8 years. They are the largest online learning community with thousands of creative classes in countless categories. I mean, the categories range from journal making, card making, Canva, Photoshop, art illustrations, graphic designs. You name it, they have it. And that's just naming a few. I mean, there are thousands and thousands of classes on there. All you have to do is type in what you're searching for and you'll see a ton of classes. And they're all taught by industry experts, people that have done this for many years and know what they're talking about and know how to teach you. So if you would like, I'm going to have a little special here for you. If you would like to join me in learning from Skillshare, then be one of the first 500 people to click the first link in the description box below, or you can scan this QR code right here on the screen and you will receive 1 month free trial to Skillshare. All right, so let's get into the video. Now that I've shown you some of those different ways to make your covers for your junk journal, let's get into actually making one. I think I've got everything pulled out and I'm ready to get this underway. This is what I'm going to be using for my junk journal. Now, this was my calendar in 2022. But as you know, 2022 was the year that my husband passed away. So this was used very little. I couldn't, he was sick part of the year and then he got worse and then he suddenly just passed away, got sick, and within 12 hours he was gone. So you can see most of the pages are blank. But this was a, let's see, Life Organized, I can't remember, Paper House. This was a Paper House little day planner. I guess you'd call it a day planner. It's got all the months and all that in it. I used it some of the first part of the year, but not anything further than that. But I'm going to be using this as my junk journal. I'm not going to cover over days that said anything about my hubby. I've got a few of those where he went to the doctor or something like that. I'm not going to be covering over any of these. Believe in yourself, all of that. I love all the sayings in here. Not going to be covering over those, but I will be covering over some of the pages that just maybe had something that, I needed to remember on them. Now, we're going to be using a ton of things. These are just some scrap fabric, little bows, just scrap pieces of things that I have. I'm going to be using some of those. A lot of this is junk journal. It's junk. Things that, old paper bags, old pieces of mailings, just junk. I'm going to be using some of that. Let's see. I pulled out other things here that who knows. These are some cards. I may use pieces of those. Junk mail envelopes. So I've got lots of those. I've got some other card bases here that I pulled out of my stash. There's an old Cherish Your Purpose in Life. I like that, so I'll glue that on and you can journal on that. That'll be a good thing. I've got some tissue paper. I'll be using some of that. These are some offcuts of some things that Alicia did one time, and they really didn't turn out great, so I wouldn't put them in your journals that I'm sending to you, but I will definitely use them in mine because they're absolutely beautiful. It's just that the Glowforge wasn't at top quality at that time, but look at that. I love that. I love it. See, this side is burned. It's kind of a burned. I love it. I'll definitely be using these. But I've got a whole sack of those. And then these are some pieces of paper that Brandon cut off the other day from some paper that we put in some kits. And he said, I really hate to throw these away. Do you think you could use them in anything? I said, don't throw them away. I'll use them. These could be stamped on, but we're going to use them in our journal. I just got some other odd pieces here in this little box that we'll be using. And then I have some different announcements, and then I've got this beautiful postcard from my friend in Switzerland. She went to Portugal, and she knows that I love getting postcards from everywhere. I love them. I've got a whole book full of postcards. But she sent me this, let's see, on 7/17 is when she mailed this. So I'll be using that. That's some just junk. I like to put these in my journals that I'm going to be keeping, because I don't put them in journals that I want to send to you guys, because this is mine personally. And then here's just more pieces of junk mail. What is this? This is like a part of a map. And this is an old postcard that just shows some of the different mountains, I guess, mountain ranges. I'm not sure even where this might be from, but I'll figure that out. Another postcard, and I think this one, let's see. This is from Tina in Switzerland, so I'll be putting that in there in my journal. This is just some pieces that I got from one of you guys. I don't even know, don't even remember what exactly they were off of. And then some pattern pieces, old pattern pieces. I'm going to use some pages out of an old magazine. More, I'm going to use that old typewriter. I love that. An old book there. And then this is a lot of doilies that we coffee dyed some, and they just tore up. They didn't make well, so we couldn't really use them in the kits, and I just kept them. I'm going to use them. I like to use some of these pieces. These are some pieces that some of you made and sent to me, and then some that I made. Some of them are laminated. Some of them have collage on them, but we'll be using that. We also will be using some napkins, some old napkins. So lots of things that I'm going to be using, but I need to quit talking and get to it, Donna. So that is going over some of the things that I'm going to be using. Now, most of these items that are in this pile were free. I didn't pay anything for them. As a matter of fact, I don't think any of this was bought. Even this was not bought. It was made from us with our Glowforge. So it's going to, I think that's more than 20. It's probably 40 or 50 pieces that we could use. So we're going to start out on this page. Now, I don't want to cover this up because I am going to put my name there. But I do want to put a little bit of something around this. So let's just see what we can come up with here. Okay, I think I'll use this one. I'm not going to cut that one up or tear it up because I want to use it somewhere else. So, oh, look at that. This is going to be on the front page. And I think one of you sent this to me, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure how you did that, but it's very, very pretty. So I think I'll just glue it like that right there. And I might cut that little piece off just so it doesn't get hindered in the spine part. Yeah, and I don't mind it hanging out the top. That's fine with me. So I know probably a lot of you have some old binders or something like this. If nothing else, just an old notebook that maybe your kids used at one time. It still has pages in there. Just grab something out and start using it, because you'd be surprised how cool it looks when you get finished. And it's yours. You can put in it anything that you want. That still has some sticky up there. I'm just going to tear a piece of this pattern paper and stick on here just to take care of that glue so my pages don't stick together. And I can still put some powder on there if I need to. So go check out these classes that I took. I think you'll enjoy them. I am not the world's best junk journalist, but I know where to find the people who are. There, that's good. It doesn't matter. It doesn't all have to be glued down perfect. It's fine. And then I'm going to cover up that contact because I don't really need anybody contacting me. But I don't need to put my contact information on this because all I'm going to be doing is putting it in my shelf and using it every so often. Be working in it. And these pages are nice and thick. They're not real thick, but they're thick enough so I can do some things with them, so I don't have to worry about them tearing or not, you know, if you use the thinner ones, you're worried about them tearing open and all of that, and you don't have to worry about that with papers that are a little bit thicker. I mean, this may look like a mess to you, but it's fine with me. Now, I'm going to use my little powder tool just on some of these edges to take that glue away where I put extra glue. And then I'm going to grab some washi tape and put right across here. I think this washi will go well with that. And this is a fabric washi. And I may cut it in half because this is awful wide. I don't really want it that wide. So if you have tons of washi tape, old cards, old notebooks, drag all that out and let's play with it. Put that the right way up maybe. Just going to glue it right there. And then I can put my name right here and what year I'm working on this. I'm going to go ahead and put the year now because, which I will not forget, but I'll put it on here now. 2025. And I think I'm going to put this very, very old little envelope right there. You can still see through it, but I got this envelope in a collection of stamps. 1962 it says. So I think I'm going to glue it down right there. And then I can put little bits and pieces in it as I go along. So let's just put that like that. And I can slide some pieces down in there. So that will work. That's all I'm going to do right there, unless I might come back and add something. Who knows? So we're going to go to this page. We'll do this page. I don't want to cover the year. I'm going to leave that year. So what shall we put on here? Let's see if we got something in this magazine. This is an old Ancestry magazine that I think one of you guys sent to me. I don't know. We'll run up on this one. Doesn't have a ton of pictures. I like the ones that have lots and lots of pictures, but I've used all of those up. I don't have any more old magazines that have a lot of, pictures of flowers, trees, all that. I don't have any. I'm out. Oh, that's a pretty picture. That's an old piece, isn't it? It doesn't really say what it's of, but that's okay. We can still use it. It's something from Scotland, looks like. I don't mind covering these up, but I just don't want to cover that year. And it doesn't bother me that I tore this crooked. That don't bother me. Or I cut this crooked. But I'll go ahead and straighten it up just in case, just so that it don't make your eyes go crazy. And then this is also just out of an old book that one of you guys sent to me, and I'm going to use it, the whole page, and fold it up and put it in there. But I need something else on here. And I'm thinking I might just use some book page scraps. I just dumped a ton of things out on my floor again. Why do I keep doing that? These are all little scrap pieces of book page that I have used pieces of and set pieces back, and most of them are not full pages. There's a couple that are full, but most of them are just scraps. I like these pieces of Edith Holden page. Some of them, Somebody sent me these that they had torn out and dyed around, so I'm going to use some of those. So, like they're right there. So this is kind of how I start. Now, this might not be your cup of tea. This might not be what you want to do. I kind of enjoy it. It's very relaxing to me. It's a little bit more relaxing than just making a regular journal, in my opinion. I have to say in my opinion, because there's so many people out there that have so many different opinions of how you're supposed to do things. But let me tell you something. When you're crafting, there is no rules. You do what you want to do. There are no rules, people. There is not a police out there anywhere that has a title of scrapbook police or crafting police. Not that I know of, anyway. Okay, I keep trying to get just that on there, so I think I'm going to have to cut these dates off. We'll use them somewhere else. Yeah, this is going to flip up so that you can still see this. Now, this is a very brittle book page. This is the great place to use brittle book pages in something like this, because once you glue it down, it's there. You don't have to worry about it being so brittle. And I like that edge kind of tore up there. I like that. And I'm going to leave it sticking out just like that. And then I'm going to put this one down below. Look at that. That's the only problem I have with some of these pieces is I like both sides. But I am going to be probably, I could have done this a couple of different ways. I could have made this into a pocket, which I probably would have been nice to do, but since I've already got this going here, we're going to glue it down. So I probably put a little piece of washi right there, and then, you know what, I could glue those there. Let's just do that. Just some old dates. 1791. What is your first clue that you got a lot of glue on your fingers when everything sticks to you and not to the page? Alright, then I'm going to use some washi to glue that down so it can flip up. Washi, washi, where are you? Now I'm just going to use some of this washi. Now this is not very strong, so I am going to be putting some glue on the back, because that way it'll hold better. This is just some Paris washi that I don't know where I got. Probably one of you sent it to me. And then that would flip up like that. So that's got me an extra page in there. Let's see what we might have here. There's something interesting. Well, I don't want to put that on top. And then grab out some of those. Let me show you what I've got in here. These are just some extra butterflies and things that are pretty thick that some of you guys have sent to me and I haven't had a chance to use because I haven't really come across that page that I want to use them on. But somebody even die cut these for me. Can you imagine that? Look at that. That is cute. I think it shows up better down here. Then I have some, these are like epoxy stickers. I might put that there. They're not real thick, but they work. Like that. I might use this just right about there. Leave my date on there. So that flips up. Then we could always put a little pocket here if we wanted to. We could tuck some little things into. You should see my desk over on this side. Lord have mercy. I get myself in a mess. I need a bigger desk. You know what I'd really love to have, and the thing is, I don't know. I mean, they cost a ton of money, and I have emailed the company a couple of times and said, you know, I would love to review one of your desks, but nah, they don't, I don't reckon they want me to. but because I haven't heard back from them. But I would love one of those desks that either you can either sit or raise it up and you can stand. Because sometimes I have to stand up. I just get to hurting and I have to stand up. And I don't want to quit crafting. I want to keep crafting, but I have to stand up sometimes. Yeah, I would love to have one of those. But I can't afford to buy it. And of course, they won't get back with me. I mean, I would do them a good review. These are some old Crayons wax crayons that I've had. I mean, you look at this box. I've had it forever. Ever and ever. And they still keep going. I'm just going to color a little bit around this. Yeah, a junk journal is just where you can dump. You know, you can do a brain dump. If you think, oh, I've got lots of things on my mind that I'd love to do, but, you know, don't necessarily know where to begin, just do a junk journal. Now, these you can wet your finger. Let's see if I got any water. I do, right there. And I think they smear, if I remember right. Yeah, they do. They smear a little. I don't want them smeared very much anyway. That works for me. So a little flip up that I can do some journaling behind, because you can journal on these notebooks. And then the year. All right, that's that page. This is one of the divider pages. So it's really thick. And this actually has a pocket right down here on it. So I'm going to, I may not even decorate anything else on here, but I'm going to utilize this pocket. But I want it to stand out a little bit. So I'm going to do this. You could put ink on here if you wanted. I'm just going to use this brown crayon. I used the finger that's got red on it already. So now I got red and brown. It's okay. Not a problem. Not a problem. Then I want to use one of these, but it's going to have to be on a different page. I think up here is, I'm going to grab this piece of napkin. Yeah, my desk needs to be twice the size that it is, because it is too small for me. I get myself in a mess. Okay, that only had one sheet behind it, I think. Now I'm going to just kind of cut around this. You can use your water and tear it. If you just put the water on there, you can tear it wherever. I'm just going to messy cut it. So if you're not very crafty, if you don't feel like that you're crafty at all, you can still do a junk journal, because there is no, you don't have to worry about being crafty. Yeah, I like that. I'm going to put that there. It won't cover it all up, but it'll give me a little bit of color on there. Yep, you don't have to be crafty. And I like all the wrinkles, so I don't even want to press all the wrinkles out. I like that. And I think since this is napkin, I will cut that off right there at the top, because it would just end up tearing off anyway. I've got some of these little index cards that they're plastic. So I'm going to use one of those right down here at the bottom, and then that'll be an extra pocket. I don't think this will hold ink, so put it on there, but it may just wipe right off. And I'm not going to center it. I'm going to put it off center. So we have a pocket there. There's a very old vintage playing card. As you can see, you can just tuck something like that down in it. I'm going to bring in a piece of this blue washi, because it's got some blue up there. And I'm just going to put that right across there. And I think for the edge right here, I'm going to crinkle that up and put that right there. I'm probably going to staple it. That way I don't have to drag out my little needle and thread. We'll see how I want it to look. Okay, that staple didn't go through there, so I'm going to try to staple it without stapling it to the page. Yeah, it went through now. And now I can glue it on here, I think. There you go. So I may put a few of these playing cards down in there just to remind myself that that is a pocket. Right, that's going to be it on that page. And unless I want to come back and add more. Of course, I'll add something down in here, but don't have to add more unless I want to. Okay, I just marked out some of the phone numbers that I had on here, but we're going to cover this page up. I'm going to put this piece of map down on here. I think, is this Germany? Maybe? I can't tell, but I think it's Germany. I'm not too up on German stuff, but to me it looks like German writing. Some of you will probably know some of these cities, but I'm just going to put this down. And that will just cover up some of that writing that I did on the page. You don't have to cover it up if you don't want to, but I'm going to cover it up because mainly all it is talking about doctor's appointments, wisdom teeth out for kids, and all that kind of stuff. Here again, you could have made this a pocket if you'd wanted, but I'm going to have so many pockets in here, I don't think I'll need another one. Okay. Put a couple of pieces of this washi up here just to make it look like that's what's holding that down. Now I think I'll put this down on here and just have it to where this piece is glued down, and then this I'll put, you know, a flower or something in at a later date. Something, because I don't mind covering this up. I put it where it pulls down instead of up, but that's okay. And then you've got a pocket back here if you want it, and then you can write. Then you can put a photo or something behind this. See, this could get decorated if you wanted. Put more decorations up here. I mean, there's no limit. You can do whatever you want to. They're your books, your journals, so do whatever you want. I think I might put that butterfly like that. It won't hinder that from opening, but it'll give it a little bit more decoration on there. So I'm only going to glue the bottom part. Put it like that. See, that will still pull down and not mess up your butterfly. And then we could put a little tab right here. I think I'll use this little piece. It was from the barcode from 49 in Market, and it just says, way to go. I'm going to put this at the bottom for a little tab. And then I thought I might put this guy on here somewhere. He looks like a mountain climber, doesn't he? I need him to look like he's sitting on a ledge. I could actually put him there. Let's just do that. Why not? And he'll be sitting on a ledge resting. And as you can see, it's not going to hinder the pull out. And then there's the little flip up. Whoops. So I like that. It's neat. And I can always come back with my little crayons if I want to color in any of that. Come back with labels. I mean, there's thousands of things you can do. Okay, I think I'm going to stop there on this. I will add more, but not right now. But that's just the way I'm going to start out this junk journal. And then as I get closer to the September in here, I'll start adding more little memorabilia and things about my hubby. And I will come back and probably add some more things on some of these pages, but I like to get the base down and then start growing from there. Okay, guys, I'm going to clean some of this off of my desk. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you give it a try. Drag out some kind of old notebook that you've got laying around and make you a junk journal out of it where you can dump do a brain dump in and use all of those ideas that you've got in your head. You may want to make each page into an idea page. You can do that too. It's for you, so you can make it what you want. I want to thank Skillshare for sponsoring this video. So don't forget, if you want 1 month of Skillshare for free, click on this barcode or be one of the first 500 to click on the link to Skillshare. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye-bye.